Well, we're back, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and here we're going to talk and discuss literally like the after reaction of the third movie. And I'll be honest, because I couldn't do that when I was in Hungary when watching it, so I'm going to tell you guys all my thoughts about the movie as well in this segment. So, and we also got Doggo, so please like and subscribe because we got Doggo. Thank you. I needed a bath. So, all right, where to start? I mean, I don't know where to start. I think we should almost go in order, like at the beginning. Like, what were your thoughts on like Shadow escaping, seeing Shadow? Actually, I want to hear your thoughts first on what you thought, because this was your first time watching it. It was my second time, so I want to hear your thoughts on the movie. So you can skip back and forth, however you like.
I am very happy with how it was. I have been a huge Sonic fan since middle school, and oh man, Sonic got through me a lot of stuff. Well, helped me got through.
Ooh, we're going through personal stuff. Let's go.
Oh my gosh. I stutter sometimes. Don't worry about it. But I'm... okay. But I've just loved this series and all the games and the stories so much. And so when the movies came out, I was so overjoyed. And each one has been incredible. And the third one is just as good as the others. I was a little nervous because Shadow is such a great character, but do him wrong, and it kind of destroys what they've built. And they did such a good job. And I called a few things which made me very happy. I called some of the twists, and I think my favorite thing was the end, the Easter egg of who's coming next. I called it since before seeing the movie. Right after the second movie, I'm like, this person and this thing has to show up.
I mean, it's not a competition. I called it since 2022, but we're not going to talk about that.
But I was really excited. I'm like, just how are they going to bring them in? And it was at the end, obviously, but I'm really excited about that. But that's another whole topic we're going to talk about later.
Actually, I want to say, you said you watched it since you were little. What year was that? Like middle school, right?
Middle
school? Okay, because I was first introduced to it in 2020, or I saw Sonic around. I just didn't know what his name was, and it was like McDonald's Happy Meal toy, and my mom would let me play it or have it because it was sports. So sports, nothing like evil or not evil, like shooting games. Like my parents didn't like shooting games. Like, makes sense. I'm not a huge fan of it either until adulthood. No, I'm just kidding. But overall, that's what I was introduced. But I did not know until who Sonic the Hedgehog, the franchise, or the actual like video game stories was until 2020. So I'm very still new to this, but I watched everything. But you, what year was it when you got introduced to Sonic, or do you remember when you became a fan? Because for me, it was 2020, summer of 2020.
I think it was when I was in 5th grade. I can't remember the exact year, because math.
5th grade?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. You're 21?
Yes.
21. So it's 2024. You're 21. So it's minus 3 years of the year. Sorry.
College.
It's plus 3 years for you. So do you know how old you were?
4 years.
You said 5th grade. Do you know how old you were?
Hold on, I'm mathing. 7. It was like 11 years ago. Oh, wow.
So 11 years ago? So that was 2013?
I think it was 14.
14?
Yeah.
I was 16.
13. Yeah, 13.
So 2013. So in this case, like between 2013 and 2014, it's just to play it safe. I mean, but wow.
It was a long time ago. And funny enough, the first thing I was introduced to, I was just on YouTube because I loved watching different things. I loved watching animations.
YouTube was great back then.
But I discovered Sonic X online.
Yes! Same!
And I was really curious about it because I watched the first episode and I'm like, these characters are amazing. What is this story? And so I started looking up more things like comic dubs and things like that.
That's how it all starts.
I fell in love with the dynamic between Sonic and Tails, the brother bond, and I'm just like,
oh yeah,
my heart. And I related to it the most because my childhood best friend, she's 1 month older than me. I'm kind of her Sonic, she's kind of my Tails, and so ever since then, we both got into it, and now my little cousins love it because I introduced them. And so I kind of brought the fam into Sonic.
Nice. Yeah, a online friend told me, like, hey, you should watch Sonic X. I'm like, what? Because I was already part of so many fandoms already. MLP, Miraculous. I forgot the other one. But I was part of so many, like, or I knew Star Wars. I was in Marvel. Like, that was the peak. But I was like, do I want to get myself into another something that do I actually care about? But he said, like, just watch Sonic X. And if you have not seen how I became a Sonic fan, please watch it. It's down in the description below, so please click on it. It is long. You can kind of fast forward a couple things, but that's how it all started. In 2020, sometime I think in summer or August, and he just told me to watch it. I'm like, fine, sure. I had nothing else to do, sort of. It was also during COVID, so like you can binge watch a lot of stuff. But this was also back in Hungary, and I got into it. And what made me become a fan, and I'll give you a spoiler here if you haven't watched the video, but it was the Shadow arc, or in this case, Sonic Adventure 2 storyline with Shadow and Sonic and Amy, which is interesting, in this movie, like, Amy had a big role, actually, in Shadow's backstory, or not backstory, but, in the changing Shadow's mind. Lady, there's your...
Yeah, I found that interesting because they changed that before. Like, and originally in the game, Amy was the one who spoke to Shadow. Mm-hmm. Spoilers. And Shadow... Well, if you're not a Sonic fan, be a Sonic fan.
You better be a Sonic fan.
Look at the games.
But don't be the weird ones, like EXE. Horror.
I like some horror things. I find them interesting, but also if you don't want to be depressed, just don't.
Yeah, that's what made me depressed. Oh my gosh.
They got some good writing for horror, but man, if you want to be, just enjoy.
Just if you don't want to see your awesome favorite characters die, just don't watch it. Oh my gosh. But overall, yeah, the changed story, like in Sonic X, it was Chris. I'm like, no one cares about Chris. I mean, okay, I had it for the kids, but seriously. But overall, I wish I knew, but that was also a very game changer right there when Sonic sacrificed himself, or not sacrificed himself, he was trapped and got blown up, but with the fake chaos emerald that Tails made. They totally took that out, which I'm totally okay with that in the third movie. Like, we didn't really need it, and I also like that it was Sonic who changed Shadow's mind. I just like that. Can you stop eating your tail? It was like the brother, like, I want to say, like, brotherly love or bond that they had. Like, it was just two guy hedgehogs just having a talk and just having a moment, and I just felt that, like, let's go, like, kind of moment with them afterwards trying to save the Earth.
We got a little love here right now, too.
A lot of love, yeah. She needs a lot of attention.
I wanted to add to your conversation about Chris. I took a graphic novel course in college this year for it's my last year. But we were talking about Superman and also when they brought in sidekicks. And, oh man, game changers. Because originally... I'm trying to remember the name. Shazam.
I love Shazam.
He had a different name. He was
Captain Marvel.
He was the first ever hero to be a kid.
Yes, I remember that.
And it was a game changer. And whole lawsuits later, Shazam. Yeah. Shazam's name changes to Shazam, and gets a whole new universe. Because they took over the character. Because it was way too similar to Superman, which is fair. But that was back when it originally was made.
Yeah.
But there's something to say that it was the first time a kid could relate. Yeah. Because it was going to the fact where kids could relate to actually being part of the adventure. Having a crucial role. And I think that's what Chris was. And seeing it as adults, it's like, what? We love these characters. True. We grew up with the characters. But as to a kid... It could mean the world to them because they're like, I want to be Chris because I want to be with all of them.
And you want to be best friends with Sonic. I'm like, yeah. As a kid, I probably would have enjoyed it better. Like, I was really bored, but it was like the old style. Like, it came out in 2001. 2003, because Sonic Adventure came out 2001, I think. So, yeah, I think Sonic X came out in 2003, if I remember correctly.
I believe so, and that was when I was born. And I'm like, ayo, I was made to be a
Sonic fan. You were born in 2003?
Yeah. I was made to be a Sonic fan.
I'm so old. I was 5.
You're okay.
Moses. Okay. I am okay. I'm still young. Sort of. But no, that makes sense for the kids to relate to Chris. So I do agree with Chris did have an important role in a way, but according to the original game, Sonic Adventure 2, it was just, I love that it was Amy. as, more like adult kind of thing. But so more about the Sonic 3 movie. Like,
Sorry.
what else did you like? Yeah, no, we go off topic all the time. That's okay. We jump right back in. So you said what you liked about it. Was there some things that you maybe like didn't like about it, which is totally fine. Like, this was a fantastic movie. There's some things I'm like saying like, okay, I felt like there's a little too much of this. Like in the Sonic 2 movie, too much of the wedding, like bridezilla thing. I thought that was a little too much. Like, at first watching it, I enjoyed it, but then I watched it 9 more times in the theater, making it 10 times, and I could realize when watching it again and again and again, I got really bored of the bridezilla thing. But again, I did enjoy it. It's like there's that part the first time, but it's a movie like hopefully you make a movie that you would love to watch like many, many times and you would never get bored of it. For me, that movie is my favorite movie of all time is Kung Fu Panda. There's nothing in that movie I can think of that made me feel bored about it. So, but again, I didn't watch it like so that's a little different. But overall, was there something that you did not maybe like or didn't enjoy? Again, feel free to share. It's okay.
There was not something I would say that I would take out that I think was bad or they did wrong, especially since it's a different universe, it's different games.
Yes.
Like, it's not just like the games, because there was a lot of characters missing, but I understand why, because the world they were going for, it's real world. And the bridezilla thing with the second movie, while I get where you're coming from,
I just thought it was too much. Like, I didn't find they had it. It was just a little too much. Like, I feel like they could have shortened it and had more Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails and Robotnik.
But I also think that they were going for bigger audiences as well, including the adults, so they can enjoy it. Because if they don't know the characters as much, then I think they were going for a wider audience to like drag more people in. And I think they did a really good job with that. But I get what you're saying. And obviously there's always like preferences to different things.
I'm in front of the camera.
But with Sonic 3, I can't think of anything I would completely get rid of.
You don't have to get rid of it, or maybe something you just didn't like.
Oh,
or maybe it was like, okay.
Not really. Man, Jim Carrey, he's so good.
Oh my gosh, he let himself go.
He did such a good job.
Legend.
With both characters, I love them so much. The dancing, I was like, oh my.
Right?
I was like, oh.
That's maybe the one thing I thought, okay, was similar to the bridezilla thing, that I felt like it might have been a little too much, but again.
But it's Jim Carrey.
It's Jim Carrey. Like, he let himself go.
You can't get rid of that.
And the thing is, if this was his last movie for the Sonic universe, I wouldn't be surprised they had so much, like, he had so much screen time. I think
that's a big if.
That's a big if. I have a feeling this may have been because I think they can continue the Sonic without, or Sonic, like, movie story with this live action one without him. And I think there's a way, but we can discuss that later.
Yeah, that's a theory. We'll go to that closing stuff later.
Bye, lady. No, come back. The fans want to see you. You're my clickbait. Don't you dare knock down my camera. Oh my God. Imagine Chico.
Mischief.
Yes.
It is not managed.
No.
Anyway, Harry Potter reference. But we're not talking about Harry Potter.
He did mention Hogwarts, so
he did mention Hogwarts.
It's relatable, or in this case, it can be put in.
Okay, I could go on so many rants.
Go for it.
I went to London
this
summer, and I crossed the bridge that they were fighting where the GUN was, and I'm just like, oh, was I literally stood where all the people were watching in horror in the movie, and I'm just like, I was literally there. This is incredible. And seeing the sights, Big Ben with Knuckles up there, the Ferris, I'm just like, oh. My inner child went wild, especially since I've been there now. So
I had the same reaction when I watched Black Widow. Like when they were in Budapest, I'm like, I know exactly where they were. The subway, or like the underground metro, like, and where they were standing and where the car chase or motorcycle chase scene was. I'm like, I know those streets. I was standing there. Not when they were filming, of course, but I grew up there. So like, I knew where they were, and it would make me so happy. So I didn't relate. I'm like, I had taken those steps. Like, I was in that location. So yes.
The references to the games too.
Oh my gosh.
They did such a good job. They had references to each movie and multiple games, and I
and to their own movies too. So like, for me, it was really weird that I was like, wait, when I keep saying Dr. Stone, but it's Agent Stone. I feel so bad. I keep saying Dr. Stone, but it's because he's Dr. Robotnik, so I'm like, I thought he was a doctor too, but he's just an agent. So like Agent Stone, when he's like, come on in, Shadow, like, I have some like fresh avocados, we're gonna make guac. I'm like,
Revenge
guac. Yeah, revenge guac, like that made it funny, but it was a hint to the first movie, which was Sonic's favorite word, or like funny word. What's that? It's like guac. It's like, guac, is this a funny word? Or fun, I forgot the exact line he said, but his last words in the first movie was like, guac. I like guac. It's a funny name or funny saying. I'm like, guac. And I teared up. Like,
that's my favorite word. And I'm like,
and I'm just like, reference, like, let's go. Like, if you did not get that, you're welcome. But there's so many to the first, especially the zzz, like that was his first thing with Robotnik as well, and his line, thanks for nothing, or and another thing, like made you look, or you were wide open. That one is also in the first movie with he did against Agent Stone. So just like that reference,
dude.
Chow Garden.
The reference, and also Tails being his inner child. I'm like, thank you for giving us that. We forget how old he is. Isn't he like 12? Maybe younger? 8?
He's supposed to be
8 and 12? Yay.
He's between, let's say it's between 8 and, I could say 12, I think between 8 and 10.
Yeah.
Because according to the games.
Like comics and stuff, because he doesn't grow older in comics.
It's like, a live show? All right.
I'm like, my child.
Yes.
Protect the boy.
I just didn't like when they said, when the kids came up and says like, are you Detective Pikachu? Most of you guys know this. I don't like Pokemon. I do not like Pokemon whatsoever.
I like it a little bit.
That's fine. Hey, there you go.
I prefer Eevee. I'm like, he looks more like a fox.
I don't care about him. But it's okay. But I just didn't like that they added that world of like Pokemon, or in this case, like that exists. Of course, I know it's a worldwide thing, but I just like, oh, come on, like make this Sega, make it stay Sonic. Don't get anything else. Like we don't need that. That's my personal opinion. But when I was like, I just did not like that. Like now Detective Pikachu exists in now this Sonic universe, and it makes me a little bit upset. Just I don't like Pokemon, and I don't like. Well, live action, I know why a lot of people liked it, but I think it's also. I heard this from someone. I think it was also. Shout out to the Detective Pikachu movie, because they did make a sequel, and Sonic's on their third movie now. So I'm just like, oh, maybe I like it. Keep it, disown it.
However, I do think it could also be a reference to another game, Super Smash Bros. Sonic and Pikachu are both in that game.
There's a theory that they might make a movie of like a Super Smash Bros. Movie.
I would really like that.
Because they're trying to make a live action Legend of Zelda. I'm like, let's go.
I've seen some of the animations for it, and it's
okay.
So good, because if they're all trapped,
I'll let it exist if that's the reason you're gonna do a Super Smash Bros. So,
but
let it slide.
I also think it was just like, the movie exists. They put references to like Hogwarts.
Yeah, true.
Pikachu, and I just think that would be really sick. But I like how it's just a little bit of Super Smash in there.
But yeah, Chow Garden. We got a Chow Garden. Though it's not like there's no actual Chows, like people dressed up. But what if it was like an urban legend? Like maybe there's an actual world with Chow, like the Chow Garden, because that's in Sonic Adventure 2 as well. So maybe they'll bring real Chows. I don't know. There's a theory.
The reaction of Tails. They exist. The inner child. I want it so bad.
Please do it.
No, I just think that would be a sweet moment. And Sonic's like, calm down, stop.
So, okay, I know I kind of, not saying I forced you, but like before we even watched the movie, we were watching Sonic Adventure 2 because I was hoping if, like, to me, this helped me, like, okay, maybe I can find more references, more Easter eggs in the movie. But I was hoping, did you catch the one when they were on the helicopter? Did you catch that reference? When they were in the helicopter before they met Shadow? Before the Chow Garden?
There was a phrase, right? Yeah, I remember the phrase.
Sonic says the exact phrase that he says in Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh, what was it?
It was the helicopter one. It was the...
I know the reference, I just can't remember the words.
I'm trying to remember, but it was like, no, like... what kind of flight is this without movies or snacks or whatever? It was something related to that.
Yes!
And then jumping out of the thing like...
I remember that, because he was escaping them. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, It's so good. Also, I caught a reference to Omega. At the beginning of the movie, there was a figurine on the console that was the exact figure.
Wait, no, it was when before Shadow broke out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. No, I did see that. I was
That
just
made me
wondering
so
when,
happy.
because I was like, what console? There was many consoles in this movie. Gotcha. It was I remember seeing that in the first time. Second time, I think I missed it,
Omega?
but I remember, Omega. I honestly don't really care for that character as much, but I know a lot of the fans do, so I'm like, I'm nothing against Omega. I'm just not a huge fan. But yeah.
Yeah, I did not mind Rouge not being there. Don't hate me. Don't hate me.
No, I'm with you. I don't want Rouge to be in it. If Rouge is going to be in it, it'd rather be like another, like, not the next movie, but the movie after. Like, I wouldn't be... Actually, I want Silver and Blaze to come first before Rouge. But Rouge is older than Silver and Blaze, so...
I'm just saying that because I think it would be too much for the movie.
Too much characters,
Because then we've got the whole dynamic with Rouge and Knuckles. Because if you look back at Sonic Adventure 2... there is quite a few things in there, and I find it interesting. But also, it wouldn't work because the Master Emerald thing is run, and the Chaos Emerald thing is run very differently from the games.
Yeah.
So it would not have worked. She wouldn't have really even known fully about it unless, like, she was watching the news reports. But also, how did she get there? But that's a whole other thing.
Well, we're not gonna go there. We're gonna leave the special person at the very end. Yes. We still got a lot of things to talk about in between.
Oh, exactly. So that's why I think Rouge would be better to bring along later, if she is brought along at all.
And I think if Rouge is, I think her role in this would be a companion for Shadow. I think Shadow would need it, not so that he doesn't be alone. I think it'd be good if he was with the gang. I mean, imagine if they all bunked together, like Shadow, like Sonic finds out that Shadow's alive and like, like new roommates. Like Shadow be like, can I get my own room?
Tom's just like, just stay a few feet away from me.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Tom would be like... But I think Tom wouldn't blame him because he was wearing a mask. Yeah. So...
Well, not a mask, just like...
the disguise.
Disguise.
Yeah.
Tails is too good at his job.
Well, also, he should not have clicked it back.
They made Tails useful. He's so good.
You know, I saw a short, someone saying, like, Tails was... Exactly, he was so useful. But someone says, like, yeah, Tails was, like, beaten to the bush. Like, they say he was very, like... useless. And I'm like, what? Did we watch the same movie? It was a short, and I even commented underneath that short. I think it might have been clickbait or someone trying to troll. I think it was a troll because, like, I even wrote down, like, he's freaking 8. And also, did you not see how many times he saved, like, Sonic and Eggman and, like so many characters? And he said, like, the biggest thing is, like, Sonic would not have made it when they were infiltrating Gun. It was Tails who saved his butt, like made it faster, like made him go faster and like
not only
Tails
that,
did such a huge thing, but maybe he didn't get as much screen time, maybe compared to Knuckles. Knuckles did save the day, like breaking glass and the whole space thing. But again, with the space thing, like I think some fans were like, why did they make Tails so like weak there? I'm like, he's freaking 8, and also he's not 100% muscle, I just think like Knuckles was perfect for that to still keep mind like focus and to save Tails and Sonic. I think that was good. Tails could have done it, but I think it was just too much pressure. Like they were in space. Like what the heck? Also, he's not as strong as Sonic and Knuckles.
He carried Sonic and Knuckles at the beginning.
Yep.
Which I was like, he's 8 years old and he's so strong. And keeping up with Sonic has always been a thing in the games. I was very hurt when in the games they made Tails kind of like useless. Even in his gadgets, he was kind of useless. Mm-hmm. Which made me so sad because it's like, oh, in the last minute he'll be able to figure it out. It'll work. Yeah. Oh, I found out how to use the translator like last minute. I'm like, he's better than that. And also looking at the original games, I think it's good to go back to that. And I'm so glad they did with the movies. Tails kept up with Sonic the whole time.
Let's go.
He also had a super form. So did Knuckles. So I'm just saying.
Wait. Yes. Tails and Knuckles had a super form?
They did.
What do you mean?
Knuckles was pink.
Oh, you mean in the games? I'm like, I didn't see that in the movie. If there was a movie, I would scream that theater off.
In the games.
That's why I freaked out. No, yeah, Knuckles is pink.
And I loved how in the universe, Sonic is so quick to jump into things. He's also a teenager. Tails is a child. And he's like, no, you die. Let me be straight up, you die. And I'm like, oh, Tails, you're awesome. Because Sonic's like, oh, shoot, you're right. Let me listen to you. Who is 8? You're so useful.
And I love how even Knuckles in this movie backed Tails up like he's trying, like the fox is just trying to comfort you. I'm like, Knuckles had
he's right.
And Knuckles had such a great important role here, or really character growth in a way, because he's like, when Sonic was about to, force like Knuckles to reveal where the Master Emerald is, like he even really like your anger's controlling, or like your anger's, what is it called? Anger controlling your emotions?
Your anger is clouding your judgment.
Clouding your judgment, and I just felt like that was so mature of Knuckles to do that, because like he would have, I think in that case maybe he would have done it, but I think he's starting to become like a wiser kid, and like he's supposed to be like, the guardian of the Master Emerald. Yeah, he's a dum-dum sometimes. Yes, he has these funny, iconic like moments, but it's like, that's our Knuckles. We love that Knuckles. I don't know if they're gonna have to Cal. Yeah,
dreams. But
anything else in the movie?
Well, remember when we were talking in the car? We were just talking about that.
Yeah, sorry, we said some things in the car, and I wish I could have recorded, but we were driving.
Oh, so well, I was driving. But...
Yes, I was in the passenger seat.
I got you.
Thank you.
I'm your chauffeur.
Yeah.
But we were talking about that, and you were saying, well, I full-heartedly agree with Sonic that there was no other way to win. So you had agreed with Sonic, and I'm like, that's true. However, there was a reason why Knuckles and Tails were like, no, we can't tell you. It's because his anger was clouding his judgment. I agree. I full-heartedly agree it was the only way, but he was so full of fear, hatred, and anger, and rage at Tom getting hurt, that we could have gotten a Dark Sonic.
When you mentioned that, I'm like, oh.
It could have been really bad. Which is why they stepped in and said, no, because he could have been more of a menace than a hero. Mm-hmm. Because as we saw in the movie, he was fully focused on killing Shadow rather than stopping the machine from destroying the Earth. So, yeah, I was so happy about the reference. I just wish we got a Dark Sonic, but that's just me. I don't know.
I think Dark Sonic should be saved for another movie with a
we'll talk about that later. I am so excited, but there was like a hint to it, and because we saw his golden form was a little darker, and I was like, it's possible. I really like Dark Sonic in the universe, because there was also, in the comics, a crazy Super Sonic, and I'm like, are they going to do this? Really? He's kind of psycho. But no, I'm glad they didn't do that. But
are you talking about the one with the red eyes?
Mm-hmm. The red crazy eyes.
Oh my gosh! Yes, in the comics. Oh my.
I was a little nervous. I'm like, are they going for him? Because
then he has red eyes no matter what, but it's like the ripple effect of the rays.
And I'm just like, if this were to happen, he'd never trust himself in a super form again. But I also, there was another point that I loved how they handled the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds, because they together form the Master Emerald, which I find fascinating.
I love that. The only thing I did not like, which was, okay, this is just me being picky, but I mean, you did not see the Knuckles TV series, no, right?
No, I haven't.
I have. So the thing is, like with Knuckles, when he broke glass, he had flame. That's actually, he unlocks that in the series. But I mean, it's not like a huge thing. He just goes like, it's called the Flames of Disaster. So that's where he, like, I was like, oh, I've never seen that before, but they have it in the show. But what I'm trying to get at with that is that, Knuckles left the Master Emerald in the safekeeping of Wade Whipple, which is where their bond got stronger, was Knuckles and Wade Whipple. That's why I think he trusted it with Wade. However, I was so kind of like offended that he used the Master Emerald as a hockey puck. I'm like, it's a sacred gem. Like, it's in the games, it's on temple. Like, it must be protected. Like, it's sacred. Like, unless when you touch it, it breaks. Like, no, it's strong. But I just thought, like, wait, don't disrespect the Master Emerald. I mean, imagine if Tikal is there and it was like, yeah, you're, like, if we get Tikal, like, yeah, I was knocked around on stuff and played as a sport. Like, oh my gosh. I just thought they really disrespected the Master Emerald there. That's just my opinion. I know it was for the joke and funniness, but I'm like, seriously?
It's also funny because there was always such a heavy focus on the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds. They were always going after those in the games, which I liked because they changed it. because it wasn't a focus on the Master Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a fight to find the Chaos Emeralds all the time.
True.
It was very different, and I really liked that. And it was a more focus of, who are these people? What is this? But I also found it funny because I think they knew the reaction the fans would have of like, what are you doing?
Don't you dare disrespect that precious gem!
Which I found hilarious. And also, it would have been really funny if the Master Emerald shattered. And it's like, oh great, we have to find all the pieces.
Speaking of which, we can talk about this. After they're falling, like Shadow, or not Shadow, but like Sonic would turn back blue. So like, I don't know if we saw it, but like I think that they don't have the Master Emerald anymore unless they somehow find it. Like it's almost like it happened off screen, but maybe the Chaos Emeralds are spread.
Yeah,
across.
that's what I mentioned in the car. Because
that's what we're talking about.
Saw Shadow still had the super form, so the gems, we never saw them disappear, were with Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
After the attack and the huge explosion, I'm wondering if they're pulling a Sonic X thing where all the Chaos Emeralds are spread apart and they have to find them, or it's the Master Emerald shards, which is interesting because they're playing them differently.
Yeah.
Because separate, they're the Chaos Emeralds. Together, they're the Master Emeralds.
I like that.
So I'm wondering if they got rid of the Master Emerald shattering and instead made it the Chaos Emeralds and they're spread.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know from the very final scene that Shadow is alive. But I kind of called that. Everyone loves Shadow. I love Shadow. Such a good character. And I'm so glad he's alive. The question is he going to be the one looking for the Chaos Emeralds?
That's what I said in the car, too. It was like, I think that's going to happen.
The team's goal was to keep it hidden. They even made a promise, and Knuckles being the one to be the only one who knows the location. They're probably looking for them too. So I'm thinking that in this hunt, it may not even be the next movie, but maybe the next movie, if we get that, they will find him again looking for the Chaos Emeralds.
I wish they could have mentioned it, like, at least about the Chaos Emerald, or like the Master Emerald or the Chaos Emeralds, about like, oh, they're spread, so we'll have to find them. Like, they could have just said something at least about it, because like, what happened to them? Because again, at the end, they did the race again just to bring back what happened at the beginning of the movie. And of course, Sonic getting lost in New York. We'll not get through that yet. We're not going to get there yet. But overall, like, they were doing that race again after, Tom recovered. So glad he's not dead. I mean, again, it's a kid's... I think they definitely went for the kid PG version. So I'm not surprised that...
Dark Sonic.
That or would have been the Dark Sonic or something like that, but...
I want that. I'm a huge nerd about Dark Sonic, okay?
That was the second peak that made me interested in becoming a Sonic fan, was Dark Sonic. How I became a Sonic fan was the second thing that started it all, that made me so interested that I want to know more. So, like, Dark Sonic, I'm a fan too, but I'm like, oh my gosh, how are they going to do it? Sonic gotta go fast!
No, that's...
But,
don't copyright.
Yeah, please no. What was it? So, yeah, I think... With that, I think they might be spread, or they just off-screen already have it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. Hopefully, we'll reveal it in the next trailer.
But also, that's the fun of the mystery, because it's like, usually they would focus solely on the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald to become powerful. I'm like, we don't know what they're going to do with it. And
that was all about the second movie, was finding that Chaos
Emerald. The question
Emerald,
is it spread, or does Shadow have them?
Well, okay, that's what I'm thinking at the end, like... Okay, so you know how you saw that it looked like an asteroid, like what's it called, like the hole, like landed, like that was his. I think the thing is, I don't think that's where Shadow landed. That was his ring. So I think maybe some of the Chaos Emeralds just landed like that too. But again, if they're gonna talk about it, like they have a connection or not, we shall see.
I doubt they were destroyed. I don't think that's.
I don't think they would take that away.
They're too crucial. They're too crucial in the games, and too crucial for the universe. And there could be some fun moments in the future with those. But they could be left hidden for a short time, and there will be people searching for them. And I'm sure the Sonic team, or the team.
The team.
Yeah, now the team. I love
Sonic.
it.
I still like it.
Yeah.
Even Knuckles accepted it.
Sonic and SEGA All-Stars. Okay, sorry.
Oh my.
I love that game so much. Childhood. That actually, I was first introduced to Sonic by that, but I didn't understand it till middle school.
Makes sense.
But anyway, I think there could be some fun with that, because I think they're going to get at least 1 or 2 of the Chaos Emeralds, kind of like how in Sonic Adventure 2 they had one.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't have all of them, which I think is really fun, because it's like, where are the others? Who has them? What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Also, where's Robotnik? Like, the whole thing of if he's dead or not, and all of that. But we can talk about that later. Was there anything else?
There's one way I think... Well, okay, this is what I wanted to say, but I'll go first, and then you.
Yeah, feel free.
So what I was looking for, and I even said this before watching Sonic 2, that I was looking for... No, actually, I'm not going to go there yet. No. Cut that part. What I was looking forward to, and I remember in the second movie, was a couple of things, and I'm not going to reveal because that happened in the third movie, but there was something like I was hoping for in the second movie, which came true, which I was really happy. I was like hoping like there'll be a Super Sonic, because they were already introducing the Master Emerald, so I'm like, Chaos Emeralds, like hoping to have a Super Sonic, and then maybe Shadow would show up, and then 2 others, but that happens later. But I was hoping for those 2, and it did happen, and those were the peak moments in Sonic 2 that I loved, that made me so excited, and that's why I watched it 10 times, because Super Sonic is so important. Like, to me, it was like, it's in his characters, he becomes super powerful. Like, it was just so beautifully done. And of course, Shadow showing up in the end credits. Like, that was, for me, the 2 biggest peak moments of the Sonic 2 movie. So what I was looking forward to Sonic 3 is that I was hoping that Super Sonic would come back with Super Shadow. That's where I was like shaking with excitement, because I'm like, are we gonna get Super Shadow? And then of course the other thing that happened that I thought was gonna happen, hopefully in the second movie, didn't, but it happened this third, which is why I said I was calling it by 2022. Sort of. But what are your thoughts on Super Shadow? For me, that was just so peak. I was just like, those are our boys! They're fighting against each other first, but then working together, defeating the Eclipse Cannon, which is like canon to the games. Okay, so those were 2 of my biggest peaks, was Super Shadow and of course Super Sonic, Super Shadow working together to defeat the Ark, or in this case the Eclipse Cannon, which is, because it's not the Ark anymore, that was an island instead of being in space. But yeah.
Bro.
What was your peak moment? So that's why I said 2 peak for me in the second movie. These were 2 of my peaks. Okay, there's a third peak, but we're gonna get there later. But those were my 2 peaks that I was so happy about 2 boys.
Oh, are we talking about both movies, like peaks?
No. I just said an example for the second movie that I had those 2 peaks that I could not wait for the next movie. For me, like, this was for the 2 peaks that I was hoping that was gonna happen, and it did. Which yeah. So for me, like Super Shadow was, I was screaming in the Hungarian theater, like in my head and my. But yeah, it was hard to contain that.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just have to share this.
Go
in
for
the
it.
second movie, my peak was just every time Sonic and Tails were together. It was so beautifully done.
Yeah.
Because he's literally a child, and Tails is like, I don't know if I can do it. And I'm like, oh, Sonic, you're so good. You're such a good big brother. I love the dynamic. Keep the big brother dynamic, please.
I love that.
Use it well.
Especially when Tails got hurt and Sonic was like
so
afraid, and like just it felt responsible for Tails' injury, or in this case,
that dynamic. I want that to blossom. I want it to keep going, because that's something that draws the audience in. Mm-hmm. Those dynamics with characters. That I love writing stories. I'm hoping to write my own stories one day, but man, I think the dynamic between characters is just as important as making good characters, because they're just as good as their weakest character. And I just think that's so beautiful. It's so well done in this series.
So in this third movie, that was for you really peak.
Bro, every time I saw Shadow, I got chills.
So everyone had that. I agree.
No, but also Sonic's reactions to Shadow, because looking at everything, he's like, he had a life. This was a home. Like, he wasn't just running around like, where's the bad guy? It's like, no,
he had a life.
There's more.
Like, this was a home.
And he saw that because he's like, man, if I didn't have the others, I would be a completely different hedgehog. Intro to Shadow. I'm like, oh, it was so good. And just
Keanu Reeves, I think he did a great job.
How they did Maria. I'm glad they didn't shoot her.
Which I thought they made it. That was like, I think
thought it was
really
well
PG
done.
of them to do that, because I think in some places, or I think even in Japan, or like, thank you, that I think like showing a child getting shot, like I think that's even like a rule in cinema too. Like you don't really show that. Like I think
that was a
might
whole
be too
thing.
dark. That might have been like
Promise Neverland too. With the
yeah, exactly. With Promise
they
Neverland,
cut that out.
They cut that out
To the rage
which
of the
makes sense.
fans.
Yeah.
Because such good characters were cut out.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother rant.
Yeah. But overall, with that, just I'm kind of glad because I think it would have been too dark, but I think the fans would have loved it, even though it's so tragic. But it's because it's just a call out. But I think the way they did it, I'm really fine and okay with that. Like I have nothing against that choice, how they did Maria's death.
I also loved that it wasn't him focusing on her last words, because that was the case in the games, and I thought it was really well done. You also get to see Maria as a kiddo just zooming around the lab.
She was having so much fun.
She was so sweet, and she also, huge difference, they're on Earth. They're not in space.
And she wasn't sick. That was also a big difference too, which I'm totally okay with. Like I think doing that made it sadder for story, but overall, like, she still died as a child. That's very tragic already. Like, she could have had a whole future ahead of her, but she died as a child, which is still very tragic, but...
Which is like, Shadow and Gerald both suffered so much. But Gerald, well, they both clung to it, but Sonic helped Shadow see there was a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Gerald was like, I have no other family. That is seen
and revenge
with
was,
Ivo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was really sad. It was really sad.
Mm-hmm.
But, what was I gonna say? Oh man, I was gonna say something about Maria.
Well, what about when they first meet?
That was so cute. Because he's like, who the heck are you? Like, no. And then just the drawing, he's like,
what did you do?
Weird child. But it was so sweet, just the growth of their relationship too, because you see that more. Because it's not just small clips. It's like, you get to see them, like, grow and struggle. Because Shadow's like, they look at me so differently. And she's like, you can be what you want. Like,
you saw the bio-lizard, right?
Yeah.
That was in the movie. I did not catch that the first time. Second time, I'm like, wait, that's the bio-lizard from... Like, they didn't have it in this one as a villain, or, like, didn't have that, but it was...
Wasn't that in the background when we were talking to them earlier?
What do you mean the background?
Like, when we were discussing the movie briefly, like, it was in the background. The fight with the bio-lizard.
Yes, it was. I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking... Oh, yeah, with the intro,
foreshadowing.
Yeah. Anyway. I did...
We did foreshadowing.
Let's go.
But
I didn't even do that
I
on
also
purpose.
loved how it was a focus not just on what her last wishes were. It was like, yeah, is this what she would have wanted? It's also like, who am I supposed to be? And what is she now? Because is she just a beacon of pain that it's like, I need to destroy everyone who's responsible? Or is she a light to live a good life for? And Shadow having that whole journey was so good. When I watched Sonic X, I'm sorry, going back to personal stuff.
That's fine.
My grandfather died of cancer in 2014.
Oh, we went dark. Sorry.
I
didn't know you were gonna go there, but go ahead and share. I'm totally fine with that.
Which is why, like, Dark Sonic was a big thing for me. Shadow was a big thing, and I was like, I don't even know how to process. And so, going through that and going through some bullying in middle school year was really hard. I was like, what is the light of this? How am I supposed to move on? My grandfather was my best friend. Mm-hmm. And so I relate to Shadow in that regard. Losing a best friend is extremely hard, especially at the age of 10. Mm-hmm. Or 11. I don't know. Yeah. But just seeing that growth kind of brought me back to that, and also seeing how others can bring you out of it. I think also Sonic showed that as well, with him being so angry. It was always others who helped him overcome and come out of that and not become Shadow. As he said, without these people, I would be a very different hedgehog.
And then it showed Shadow right when he said that. I'm like, I felt that. That was really good cinema right there.
Yeah, and without family and without those close people and actually working hard to go forward for that person because you know they wouldn't want this for you. So powerful. And I loved how they covered that because everyone will face a death in their life, if whoever it is, but it's how you move forward. It's not staying there. You have to keep going, because living in the past will destroy you and others around you. Definitely. And the relationships with those around you.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sorry, I'm emotional, but...
you and me both, honey.
But I loved how they covered it. And Maria,
mm-hmm.
when she described the light of the star, that even when it's gone, there's still the light. You still see it. I'm like, that is such a beautiful tale. And I knew that Shadow would go back to that clip eventually.
Yeah.
But I thought it was beautifully done. And Sonic being like, it is hard. And
even that's why I love that moment between the two of them on the moon. Just them sharing, like, oh yeah, Shadow had Maria, Sonic had Longclaw. Let's just, I think, be honest, I think Sonic maybe, nothing had it worse, because he never saw Longclaw actually die, but that goodbye, and also in the second movie with the whole hologram thing, like, yeah, completely confirmed, but he was alone as a child. Shadow lost Maria when he was, I guess, an adult. I don't know. We could discuss where he came from or how that worked, but overall, like, he was, but still, like, losing it almost as a mature mind, too, like, as an adult, like, that also could still, I mean, I don't think he's an adult. Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, he was still trapped for 50 years. He's the ultimate life form. I don't know, there's so much logic, or, like, so much, like, maybe think we could dig into that, but
there's
overall,
so much
still,
debate with that.
yeah, but I think, yeah, and we don't have to get into that, but it's just, that was still very hard, and just seeing the lifeless body of Maria, like, and okay, I gotta just give it to that. Whoever did the makeup, or in this case, like, the beautiful, like, portrayal of the grief of Gerald Robotnik's. Yeah, I was like, I felt, like, I saw him, like, I was about to cry. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, I was very sad, but still, like, just how they did that was beautiful. Mm-hmm. And just, but you know what's even worse? I think what's even worse is that with the second, or the Sonic Adventure game, is that he didn't have time to, I mean, okay, in the games, he was, like, jettisoned, and he probably, like, you know, passed out on Earth, like, he was out, like, knocked out. With him being in a containment, like, he was put in literally probably minutes, or even, like, hours, like, after Maria's death, like, right away.
His face.
Like, his face, and then he looked up at Walter, and then the iconic, like, his angry.
Well, he looked so scared and confused. He
was so scared. Shadow, like, scared. That was the worst way to do it, and he was like, he was suffering through that pain for 50 years.
The guy who ran in, was that Walter? The guy who was like, those are kids.
That was Captain Walters.
Shadow was a kid. He was a kid. Like, he had the mindset of a kid because he grew up with Maria. He spent most of his time with her.
True. And I would say, like, yeah, he was more of a kid there.
It's hard to say because Sonic and Shadow had very hard pasts. Sonic had people where he saw, like, love and joy. And that's why he, like, the way to keep sane in that was to picture himself with them. Like, oh, these are all my best friends. Even though he's by himself, he still saw that love. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, these people are great. But I just haven't talked to them yet. Mm-hmm. With Shadow, the only kind people he spoke to were Gerald and Maria. And everyone else, he saw them as judging him or afraid of him. Mm-hmm. They saw him, well, Maria saw him as being a genuine person. Mm-hmm. And more than just a killing machine. And he could be whatever he wanted. Like a genuine, kind person. Mm-hmm. So when he lost that, he didn't have anyone other than Gerald, which an ally, but it was mainly because of shared grief, I think, that they partnered up, and some past things. Mm-hmm. That is why he clung so close to him and had no faith in people, because she was the only one who could see him as more than that.
You know, I saw, like, now that I think I saw someone talk about this in a short as well, but that Gerald Robotnik, I think, is a very different Gerald Robotnik than it is in the games. Because this is what I think someone theorized, that yeah, they thought Shadow was super dangerous. The scientists probably saw him as a monster, this and that. But the cause of that Shadow was too dangerous, I think they might have been experimenting with chaos energy or chaos power, and I think it was Gerald's fault. Which is why I think, because they were running away, but he was like, they're trying to take Shadow away from us. So, but why were they, even if they were hunting Shadow down, like, to me, it's a different storyline, of course, from the games. But to me, it was different and weird because, like, it looks like it was Gerald's fault that things might have gone out of hand, and maybe I think he had an evil, more intent to use it because he is, and that's why, like, when they were running away, that's why it makes sense for them, like, holding on to Maria, trying to escape. But I think there was some shady business that Gerald was doing while they were experimenting with Shadow, and Maria was there, having fun with Shadow. But compared to the games, because of course in the games Gerald was dead, he just had that recording. But I think in that one he was a more genuine person, and then after losing Maria, of course, went insane. But I think Gerald Robotnik in this one, even before Maria's death, was doing something shady, I think. And that's why I think when they were running away, there was this, they were actually more going after Robotnik than maybe Shadow. Because it was Gerald that said, they're trying to take Shadow away from us. Like, what if they just, captured Gerald? And maybe they probably would have captured Shadow, but I don't know. In the games, it was like, no one was supposed to be left alive. Which makes it, and that's why, like, Captain Walters was, like, trying to save, because they're only children. Like, he was trying to save Shadow and Maria. Didn't say anything about Gerald, So, I don't know what your thoughts on that might be, or what you think about that. I think it's actually makes sense to me why everything went down as it went down, because I think Gerald was doing something shady. The government's gun found out, and they were trying to stop Gerald, not the whole project itself, I think. Because I think they could have definitely used Shadow for military purposes. I'm just going to say that, maybe. I'm not sure, but that's just the thing. But I think Gerald was doing something shady, which is why they attacked.
Ivo Robotnik was a war hero, right? Because his eggs... Because...
Oh, yeah, the art Eggman, yeah.
Yeah. My question is, was Gerald?
Maybe.
He may not have been a war hero, because he was a scientist.
Yeah.
But what if he pitched an idea for this machine? Like, this was from the beginning. And he had pitched the idea to, like, maybe for a war. Or to defeat an enemy, we can use this to destroy them. And they're like, no one should have this much amount of power. This is not good. And which is why they wanted to destroy Shadow, because they realized that he's the only one who could power such a weapon. Because he pitched it. I mean, it's a possibility.
He might have pitched it, but I don't think he had the coordinates until he was in jail. Because that's when he wrote down everything on the walls.
But the thing is, what if he already had that plan in his head? And so he was like, oh, if you set me free, I can write the schematics for you and make it for you. And I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. So, I don't know. It's possible that he had it pre-planned. And when he mentioned the possibility of it, or if someone found it and realized what he was trying to do, they decided to kill Shadow or take him away. Because they're like, only we should have that power or something. We don't know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of theorizing to go with that. I'm just stating a possibility.
Which kind of reminds me of the Marvel movies of the Tesseract. Because even Hydra, it's a Hydra, yeah, also wanted the Tesseract for power. That was the whole point in the first Captain America movie. And I'm just thinking, like, well, what if there were people trying to fight for Shadow? Like, Shadow being the equivalent of the Tesseract, ultimate power. Like, you use it for weapons, use it for teleportation, apparently, or space travel. So I was just like, interesting. Not saying they're copying, like, no way. This is its own thing. But I was just thinking, like, for that, with the power aspect, I'm like, oh, I can see that maybe government tried to attack, like he said, have Shadow for themselves, but it was already under their control, I think. Underneath American control, I like to say. So I don't know who was, like, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I think Gerald Robotnik was doing something shady. So they're actually going after Gerald and trying to contain Shadow, which they did, but they just kept it on their stasis because they didn't know what to do with him, except Gerald Robotnik knew what to do with him.
Or, I mean, I think you have a good track. There's also the possibility, like, I'm, again, not saying they stole from Marvel, because I love Sonic so much. Oh,
No,
so
they didn't
good.
steal from Marvel. What are you
But
talking
there's
about?
also, like, it could be similar to the controlling of the heroes in Marvel, when they're like, you can only attack or do these things under our control. So there's a possibility of that, where like, oh yeah, we'll use him however we want, but only under those. And
They did that in the
those
second movie
conditions.
with Gun, trying to
And
cap
only
Sonic and Tails.
only we have the power to tell Shadow what to do. And I'm like, oh, that's so interesting.
Right.
But also, they didn't know what to do with like how much power he had, and he was also, after Maria's gone, it's like there's no way. So they decided to put him into stasis.
And okay, so because you didn't watch the Knuckles Adventure live TV series, there's actually 2 Gun agents, former Gun agents. They were part of Gun, but they left because one wanted to keep control of the aliens, or in this case, keep control like Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, because like, oh, we could use their power for weapons, literally like the Tesseract kind of thing. That's where I kind of got it, because I'm like, oh yeah, use their power for. That's what happened in the first movie too, because like Dr. Robotnik, Ivo Robotnik, wanted to take the quills to use the power to, so like it's all connected with power and stuff. Like they want power and to use it for their own weapons and not and control them, or have them be like a battery. But in Knuckles' Adventure, they did that. They went after Knuckles and use his quills as well to power up their suits. It was almost like an Iron Man kind of thing a little bit. So it was like, but yeah. So they did that as well. But they were former Gun agents. Like they left. So I think Gun right now, because Walters is gone, I think Gun is now, I think would want to control the aliens. I'm going to say like Team Sonic for their own like control, because they did call him in to take care of Shadow, because they can do it themselves. So in a way, they are doing that already, but they still giving them their freedom. And also they were already
so interesting.
So the thing is, in the Knuckles in the beginning of the episode 1, they were already under surveillance already. Like Tails, Sonic, and Knuckles were already under surveillance under Gun. So like they can be free, but they're under they're keeping watch on them, like so they don't get out of line. So
yeah,
that's
so
was
it's a
part
lot
of
like
it.
the superheroes thing.
You kind of
Bro, I found it kind of funny that it's like, oh yeah, Team Sonic, you're needed here. I'm like, why are you not asking questions? Like, I think that's the first thing I would do. Like, oh, what are we up against? Deal with it. I'm like, bro, like, the questions. Anyway, right. I found that funny. But it also just shows Sonic. He's like, I'll deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Very headstrong, and he's still getting used to being on a team, which I love, because it's like, oh, I'm not perfect at being team leader yet, or anything, but I'm getting there. And it's like, he's a kid, he's growing, and I love it. They're doing such a good job. No character should be perfect at something they're starting doing right away. That is, it's so painful when stories do that, which is why I love each character so much, because each one has flaws. Like Knuckles is like, oh yeah, I want to fight him right now. I'm like, bro, Knuckles, please. I love you, but stop. And then Tails is fear too, because when he loses, like when the plan gets off track, it's like, what do we do? What do we do? But he's gotten better too, because when Sonic literally goes head first to the shield, and I'm like, you know what happens? We saw this. Tails warned you.
Yeah.
And Tails adapted way faster than I think in the second one, because he immediately went. Because he immediately went there to save Sonic's life and get him through. Because it not only shows that he's strong, but it also shows that he has like grown from reading both Sonic and Knuckles to know how to adapt, and his tactical mind is even stronger, and I think that makes him so much more powerful, and I love it.
Let's go, Tails!
It's so good. Tails is such a good character, and I'm so glad they're using him to his full potential, and I hope they keep doing that. Please. We love these characters.
So, overall, I forgot, but I think you said, I think we touched upon it, but I don't think, I think we left the conversation when we went to a different topic, but like, Super Shadow. What was your peak? Like, was that peak for you? For me, that was the biggest peak of this movie.
I immediately, when they grabbed hands, I was like, in this world,
where life is strong,
in this
world,
I was literally shaking. I was staying quiet because I'm like, I don't want to disrupt anyone in this theater, but I
already did that.
Dying. Oh man, it was so good. Because it made me so happy, like, seeing, like, Sonic Adventures 2, seeing the Super, like, in Sonic X. I was like, I know this is going to happen, but am I prepared? But they did such a good job, and I did find it fascinating that Sonic passed out. There is a huge thing with that because.
Oh, and you mean in space after they finally got the
because they weren't
laser out of the
fighting.
way.
They were both pretty tired after that, but also like it says something that Sonic was the first one to pass out because Shadow was made to have chaos energy, which is why I think he can handle chaos energy better than Sonic. The reason being is because he was literally created for that reason. And he's
the ultimate life form. Of course, I'm not surprised he would last longer because I think
also Chaos Spear.
He had Chaos Spear. I wanted to talk about that. I was like, when I saw him, like Chaos Spear, and the thing is, I watched a lot of people like talk about like the Easter eggs, and no one I saw a lot. No one mentioned Chaos Spear. And I'm like, come on, fans, come on. I bet some of you maybe
I had to bring it up, I'm sorry.
But no, I love it when I saw him, like, it's Chaos Spear, right, lady? Yeah, it's Chaos Spear!
The dog feeds on energy. She has chaos energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not an ultimate life form, sorry.
No, you're not there yet. Yeah, I know.
She'll argue with them.
But overall, like, I think you were going, like, how Sonic, like, passed. I'm like, I think he's way stronger than that, because it was actually flipped. It was Shadow who fell to Earth, and it was Sonic who was like, oh, we're already back. Like, it went to the scene, and he was already back in the Ark, like, totally fine. But I like that flip because, again, I think because also Shadow's the ultimate life form. I think he was definitely made to handle. Energy. I think he is stronger in power in this case than Sonic is faster, but I think Shadow had more experience and his more power and stuff like that. Like, I think that's why he lasted longer than Sonic. That's my opinion, but I
wouldn't say he's more powerful than Sonic.
Well, okay, yeah, true.
Like,
I might have said that wrong.
I'm just saying that I think he was built to handle chaos energy better. He is better with chaos energy.
Yeah,
that is
I agree, yeah.
I still think in a fight, Sonic would win.
Oh, definitely.
100%.
Definitely, no. Yeah, I didn't mean to say stronger. You're right. The chaos...
But
you said it way better than I did.
Chaos energy, he was built to withstand it. He was built to control it. He did it on the machine.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he did that whole running thing, sent all that energy there, and was still strong to fight Sonic. Which is like, okay, that says something. He has a lot of power in chaos, and I love it. Because I genuinely think chaos energy is his whole thing.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's so good. And another reason why he was able to survive that whole blast, because also, that's something to think about. It's not just an explosion, but it was an explosion with chaos energy.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he would have a bit of a resistance.
Oh, no, definitely, which is why he survived at the end, too. Like, I'm not surprised, but you know what? Okay, I love beautiful moments, like, slowly, like, and it's just... I kind of wish he could have said something like he did in the games, like Maria, is this what you wanted? Like, is this like did I make you proud? Like, I wish, but the thing is, I could see it in his emotions, like while he took off the rings, get ultimate power, let's go, pushing the Eclipse cannon away, or at least the whole machine, space station, whatever. It pushed it away, but you could tell like he was using all his might, but you could see the like, I won't say like acting, but like you could see the beautiful emotion or reaction on his head, like in his head, just seeing that, like, seeing Maria, the flashback, and he just like, and then when he succeeded right before it exploded, he was like, he had like a sense of peace. And I'm just like,
it was so well done.
It was so well done. I was about to cry because I could see it, like he's doing something that Maria would be so proud of him for, saving everyone on Earth. And it's just like, just that moment was so beautiful.
Honestly,
and then the explosion, I was just like,
he's so good, and he's such a strong character.
Like how they did that, how they CGI'd. I'm just sorry that it was so beautiful.
I was so angry with Gerald, okay? But that makes it good. It makes it good. But you could tell that he was manipulating Shadow because he was like a kid, and so he still had that kid mindset in a sense. And he's like, I lost my best friend, nothing else matters. Mm-hmm. Like, they were literally willing to destroy the whole world even though they were innocent.
Sonic had Tom, But even then, like, he was still, like, Sonic was still by himself. He didn't change. But when he was asking, like, what to do with this pain of losing Longclaw, like he still learned, but, like, Tom guided him in the first movie, even though they were, like, strangers, but, like, in the second movie, like, he saw, Sonic definitely saw Tom as a father figure and trying to steer him in the right direction or right path. But with Shadow, he only had Gerald, and Gerald wanted revenge. So, like, he was getting advice from already a dark, sad, or, like, broken man as well. And just, he was asking for answers, and Gerald said, like, we'll get justice. We'll make it. And that's all he has. Like, Gerald only wanted revenge, and if it was someone like Tom, yeah, again, even Sonic said, like, I would have been a very different hedgehog if it wasn't for you, for Tom. And I'm just like...
Not only that, he fed into it. And... I could go on a rant about Gerald. Because when he showed up on screen and was first like, oh yeah, I'm your grandfather, and they started bonding, I was like, there's something more to this. There is no way that he is not going to backstab Ivo.
Oh,
I called it the instant, like, I saw it. I was like, okay, we know something's going on. And it just hurts so bad that he was feeding into Shadow's hopeless point of view. And, like, everything needs to be destroyed. And he's like, why can't you just leave me alone? Like, that's said when he leaves. And the confusion, it hurts so bad. The confusion.
Wait, when who leaves?
No, like, when, oh, sorry.
No, when he says, like, leave me alone, that's when the gun agents were coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Gerald saying
he
that.
He needed time to be alone to process. He did not have time to process the grief.
Yeah.
But also, one moment that hit so hard was when they were on the moon and Sonic stopped and he's like, why aren't you doing anything? Like, he was so confused. Because he'd only ever seen that hate and that response, and it's hurt so bad because he was so confused why Sonic was showing him mercy, and I'm just like...
well, not just that, it's just... Shadow was in so much pain with Maria's death, and all he knew was revenge, and that wasn't making him feel better either. He was just more angry. And just seeing... I know, lady, it's so sad. It just... Him seeing... Like, I think he really wanted his pain to end, and he was really trying to get Sonic to finish him, I guess, because that's what Shadow would have done. And seeing that mercy, like, that was a change, definitely. But I think it just, to me, it's just very sad. It's like, you know, like, right here, like, come on, finish it. And I'm like, Shadow, no, like, don't do that. Like, we love you, Shadow. Like, no, why would you want it? I know. It just that really hit hard too.
Yeah.
And then showing mercy, I'm like, that was a new light for Shadow, and just realizing, and even Sonic's saying, like, with revenge, nobody wins. So true.
It's so powerful. Because if anything, it just brings more pain, more suffering, and
it doesn't change the fact what happened. But
and in this case, more death.
More, yeah.
Because everyone being dead, it was just so tragic, and it was so well portrayed. Mm-hmm. Like, that's why I got chills every time Shadow came on, because he was a relatable character. Because if you were in that position where you didn't understand all of that, you just felt hated, and the only person that you felt like saw you and believed in you was gone. It's like, whenever I saw him, the empath in me was like, oh. And I'm like, Sonic sees it. Sonic totally sees it.
Yeah.
And he tries to talk to him, and it's like, oh. But he was so blinded by rage at first.
Yeah, and Shadow grew up in, like, a complete, like, that's the thing in the first movie. Sonic was afraid that they were going to do experiments on him or something, like being a lab rat, or this is a guinea pig.
Yeah, he was experimented on.
Yes.
Daily.
So with Shadow being like, he probably, it's almost like, you know, you're in a hospital but you can never leave because they're always putting needles in you. They're always testing, making sure, like, as in, like, it's good if, you know, if you're in a hospital, like, you were injured, like, you know, it's good to be there, but, like, it's like constantly the same thing. Like, he probably never went outside. Maybe that was the first time he ever went outside, which was with Maria.
It did look like she was sneaking around. Like, she stole the card.
Yeah, he did. So, like, in this case, probably the first time ever. And just having Maria there and Shadow just, like, and, you know, just them rollerblading around, like,
I also loved, okay, on a lighter note, I loved the
fun.
reference to Shadow the Hedgehog where he had the gun.
Of course, and the motorcycle, like, let's go!
The reference!
It looks like a taser gun to me, because I don't think they can do a real gun because of...
It was, like, thrown away eventually.
Sure, yeah.
But, like, it was
knocked out of his hand.
It made me very happy, because I'm like, oh, reference. I love how they pointed to most of the games. I'm like, so good! But yeah, I think they really covered Shadow well, and also Sonic being an outside observer and understanding, like not fully understanding his situation, but thinking, yeah, if I didn't have these people, I would be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees someone who's literally struggling with that, and he's like, I want to help, but also fighting on opposite sides, it's very hard. He tried to make it work, it was so the struggle, because it's like you want that person to listen so they know they're not alone.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't, and it takes time, and it's so powerful. Grief is such a strong thing, but it's something we'll all deal with one day, and I think they covered it so well.
Very well.
Yeah. Sorry, all of the
No,
emotions.
it's so well, that's what makes it so brilliant and deep, and just again when you said like every time Shadow showed up, I'm like I was just so happy but so sad because you know his backstory. It's
bro.
I'm an everything.
Empath.
I felt
and
it.
Every time he came on screen, I felt so sad.
I just want to give Shadow a hug every single time.
Seeing the manipulation, seeing how he like Gerald toyed with his grief, and also so easily like manipulated Ivo. But honestly, he never saw Ivo as well. Really a grandson much. He didn't really care. He's like, yeah, after Maria, you mean nothing to me, so.
Yeah. I think we both saw it coming from the very beginning. Like, he's just, I mean, we knew Jared Robotnik was already, like, very, very, like, evil and stuff. In this case, it's different in the games. He was dead already in the games, but here he's alive. But even then, you could totally see, like, yeah, he's just using his son to get to what he wants.
Well,
grandson. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so the thing is, I messed up when I'm watching the trailer, because when he said Papa, I didn't know because I call my dad Papa. So I was like, wait, is it his dad or grandfather? I did not know, so I was confused. So I think it was his dad. But
I called mine Opa, the one that passed away.
Well, that makes sense. It's German.
There's
that makes sense.
Specific names,
it's not Papa in Hungarian, but I call my dad Papa all the time. So when he said Papa, I'm like, Dad? I'm like, wait, that's the word for dad. I'm like, wait, what? But I know it could be a nickname for grandfathers, and Opa is definitely, like, it's German for grandfather. So, like, I get that. I just was, for me, I was like, what? But there's a little funny thing there. But overall, yeah, we all saw that coming, that he was definitely, like, he didn't really care. He just did anything to get what he wanted in his final goal.
Bro,
I love Ivo's reaction to his grandfather saying, like, destroy everything, including us. And that just, like, what? Like, that was the best reaction. I was like, I like that. Like, they could have gone any type of scene, but, like, that was just brilliant deliverance, I think. I just love that part. That was a good scene. Okay, so we talked, I think, about the beginning. Oh, yeah, the Chow Garden.
We didn't even talk about
Stone. Oh, his admiration. It's such like a henchman who wants to be noticed, like, wants to actually be
his friend.
It was so... sick of friend. I'm like,
I want to try his coffee.
Yes,
I really want to try it.
Austrian goat's milk. Let's go. The
goat milk. What is the obsession? I want to know.
Actually, they had that reference. Do you know when he was holding the coffee, when they were in that VR thing? He held the coffee,
and it also had their faces.
Exactly what he did in the second movie. I'm like, I did not see it the first time, but I saw it this time. It was so good. Oh, good thing you caught that.
There's so many different portrayals of Dr. Eggman too, and I find it so interesting. Yeah. There's the evil ones where one of their heads looks literally like thin at the top. What was that from again? It was like one of the oldest shows.
It was I think it was like, I thought it was called Saturday Night, something like, or not Saturday Night Live, but like something like Saturday Night something special.
Bro, he was terrifying. It was with his two henchmen, the chicken and the smaller guy.
Yes. Oh, I think I forgot what they're called, but
he's one of the most evil forms of Dr. Eggman.
Oh, yeah.
He's so scary, bro. As a kid, I was like, now this is a villain.
Mm-hmm.
But also looking at Sonic X, where he literally talks him down from killing a ton of aliens as Dark Sonic, I'm like, there's so many different ways you can go with Dr. Eggman, and I found it really interesting to look into the dynamic between him and his henchmen, because you could be in the abusive relationship, which was like one of the oldest Dr. Eggman portrayals with the chicken and the shorter one. I'm sorry, I can't remember the names off the top of my head.
It's fine.
I loved that show, and Stone was so good. It was so good.
I really liked, and at the end, like, I can't lose you again. I'm like, dude, he went through that again. Like, he lost in the second movie. Oh no, the first movie. Oh, in this, transition. But I just like his admiration. Like, but he very much admired Dr. Robotnik. And the thing is, like, even the like, you left yourself open, and after that, he like shaked himself. I'm like, okay, like this is like a bonding moment. But like, it's like he does this all the time, and I'm like, okay, shake it off. But, and I love how he says like, can I say something to you? Like, you're very adorable, very cute details, and I'm like, Agent Stowe, we're all saying the same thing.
So you agree that the boy must be protected?
At all cost.
You hurt my boy, Tails, I break you.
Ghost. Knuckles Ghost.
Bro.
The one in Sonic X was really creepy. I totally forgot about it. I actually erased that from my mind. And I totally forgot about it, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is the reference.
Oh my gosh, that is a huge reference. I just realized that. Because we were watching with the whole ghost fight in that game. And I was like, that's from Sonic X. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, that's Sonic X, the one where Amy was possessed.
And I looked it up.
It is so good. I
totally forgot about that.
I totally forgot about the whole reference with the ghost. Because that was in the same game. And it's so good because Knuckles is scared of ghosts. And the whole reference. Oh, it's so good.
I love it so much.
So many references and I love it. They did such a good job as usual. But...
And I'll just say this quick. I kind of like that Rachel and, what's his name, Daryl? No.
I don't remember saying
Randall. Rachel and Randall were in this film, but they weren't actually them. It was like the disguise, but they were in it, like as in the actors were in it. And I loved how like it wasn't all about them like it was in the second movie. Because I thought it was too much. Or like they could have rushed it or like sped that up. But overall, like I think they had a good cameo in this, which I enjoyed. So like I really liked that. But it was like
Rachel is so good at terrifying people, and I love it.
I know. It's like, do you know what GUN stands for? Yes, GUN is like getting ultra nasty.
Get nasty. And I'm like,
nasty. I'm like, that was beautiful. I love that. I love being Rachel. That was I like that part about them too. I think they did that really well in the third movie.
Randall looked concerned.
It's like, that's my wife right there. Yeah, I guess like didn't need to, but like no one questioned why they were there. Like maybe it was their day off. I don't know. It was just like, but we didn't need that. I think it was just for storytelling. It was fine. So like I liked it. That's the short thing with them. Like I like that they put them in there for that. What else? Just quick. Before we get to the best part. I know, right, lady?
That's her favorite toy.
Sloth. Or chewed off to the toes. Oh dear.
There go the toes.
You go by toes.
Never mind.
What else? So yeah, we talked about Super Sonic, Super Shadow, which was bad, and Chaos Spear. Live and learn!
Oh, there was also the reaction of Shadow. It's just another thing that I found interesting. But when he realized that he hit Tom, he regretted it. You could see the regret in his eyes. And then Sonic...
He realized it wasn't Walters, yeah.
And I was like, oh no. Because I knew Sonic had to appear at that point, but I'm just like, oh no.
And I realized it was Gerald Robotnik that killed Walters. It wasn't Shadow. That was a huge difference. I realized, I was like, oh, like he probably wanted revenge.
No, it was, yeah.
So, like, I thought, I was like, oh, yeah, it could have been Shadow who killed Walters, but no, it was actually Gerald at the beginning of the motorcycle thing. So
did
I'm like,
he not know that Walters was dead?
Gerald?
No, did Shadow know that Walters was dead?
I don't know, but I think that's when his, like, emotions got, it was like, I don't know. I don't think he was there. That's the thing.
I don't think he knew.
He was going through his, going through the old laboratory when I think all that happened.
That's also interesting, too, because the woman who took the key and was going to keep it for safekeeping, when she saw Walter, she's like, oh, you're alive? I'm like, wouldn't we have gotten an announcement?
I know, like, I feel like if she knew that he was, dead, KIA, like, wouldn't she have questioned that? Like, I don't know if that was like, okay, they didn't have time to tell what, like, if he was actually dead or not, or still recovering, or I don't know. Like, they didn't really clear that, so I feel like she would have known. Like, it's been, like, what, a couple days since Walter was killed? So,
and also, he did say, oh, you thought I was dead.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still alive. Like, I'm always alive. And so she gave the key, and I'm like, is that a confirmation that he was dead? And she thought, like, that, oh, I guess he faked his death. I mean, I'm sure that's something GUN would do.
Something would, they would probably do something like that.
I think that might be a confirmation that he is actually dead. But again,
it's a tough one. It's kind of hard to.
I think it kind of is because she's like, "Oh, I thought you were dead."
Oh yeah.
And I don't know.
And the gravity.
We thought Robotnik was dead, but obviously we knew he wasn't dead.
Nah, because the trailer. But like, but with the gravity, I got so scared when Tom went Sonic. Like, that was too close. Like, I could see that actually happening, and I thought that, like, I was so scared for Tom maybe that he would get killed he got seriously injured, but that's when, Sonic, that's for the Chaos Emerald, so to get Dark Sonic. But I thought, like, I wouldn't be surprised if they went not, like, towards kids, but went towards, like, teens and adults, like, made it, rated something. M? Not M, is it? Not right. R, that's
sorry,
like
this is really good.
It is good. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sonic didn't make and he got impaled. Like, that would be so sad. I can imagine someone making a fan comic about that, or like doing like something, and I'm like, please do. I would love to watch it and
you're giving
feel
them more
pain.
Ideas. More ideas.
I'm already seeing it in my head,
Bro,
like drawn.
I can think
I'm
of something worse. What if Tails is like, one of his tails got hurt?
Oh, don't do that.
That would be so painful.
He's 8. Hope.
He's a child. I know, but he's in a dangerous situation. Yeah. I was like, if this happens, I can't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, but that was like, that scared me.
But it was so cute.
Yeah, but it was such great acting. Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
Okay, I think we talked most of the things, so let's get to the best part.
And I'm sure we'll find other things to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. But to cut this almost shorter, but we'll talk about a lot about this, but okay.
This is going to be a long video.
End credits. Let's get it down. First things first, he is in New York City. Park, I guess. Go for it, tell me. Tell me all about it.
I called that Amy and Metal Sonic were coming. I called it from the beginning. I'm like, if they're bringing in another character, it has to be Amy, and if it's Amy, it has to be Metal Sonic. Because that is how they originally met. And it made me so excited. And I find it funny that she was in New York City, because she was more of the city character. Because you'd see her wandering around shops and other people a lot more than you'd see Sonic. Or any of the other characters, but it usually was with Cream and other characters like that.
So we might find out how, maybe Amy got there. Yeah. I don't know if she was actually roaming. I think she might also have one of the rings.
I think she has being hidden,
Hidden? So I think with Metal Sonic, I think he was tracking Sonic and then found him there. And it could have been also a ring as well or something else. I'm not sure. Like with Metal Sonic, it's a little bit, but they just so teased us with that, and then not just one Metal Sonic, it's multiple, which reminds me of the IDW. That's it, the IDW comics with the but I think they also have games with Metal Sonic too, like him becoming the ultimate villain. Unless it's in the IDW comics, then never mind. But oh my gosh, can you stop eating ears?
She eats ears of toys.
But I think she teleported herself there. I don't think she was just in New York. Maybe she was. I'm not sure. I think people would notice.
She could have been hiding out.
Probably. I mean, she was wearing the cloak.
Little Red Riding Hood Amy.
Don't give him ideas.
I just gave ideas.
No. Red is not her color.
It kind of is though. It's basically.
Oh yeah, she wears a red dress. No, I forgot about the red dress.
Have you not known this character?
No, I have. I just blank on colors. I'm not colorblind, I promise. I just forgot about the red part.
You were focusing on the pink too much.
Too much. Well, yeah, it was brown cloak, so yeah.
Bro, literally for Christmas, I got her a blue and pink cup.
I was like, oh, like pretty, but I'm like, I'm not into the. And then she said,
Sunny.
No, I love it. I love it too much. I'm like, yes. So excited.
Yeah, I think it's sweet.
I am too happy that we have Amy. Like, just the Son Amy fans are just gonna go crazy, and just like the possibility of it happening. And we talked about this in the car, that instead of Amy running after Sonic, I think Sonic will get butterflies in his stomach. His heart will start to pound faster. I'm like, who the heck is this and why is she so pretty? What am I thinking? Like,
Well,
he's still a child. He's still like young. Or not child. He's more teen.
And it's something to consider because he hasn't saved her yet.
No.
So she hasn't fallen in love with him yet
Well,
because
Amy just saved him.
he did not protect her.
No.
I just think that's interesting. It could possibly happen, like what in the next movie, but
you
there
said
is the
something. With Tom.
Oh yes, like if in the case of if something happened where Dark Sonic were to come, like
that. I'm not talking about that.
Oh,
I'm talking about with Tom.
What was this?
Sonic doesn't know what's he's feeling. Oh my god! Yes!
I love this. Okay. This whole love thing that I've been really excited for. I'm so excited. If this is the case where he starts having feelings, or he's gonna get mega teased by his family.
Yes!
I'm telling you right now.
Maddie and Tom be like, ooh, who's this girl, Hedgehog? Hello!
And he's gonna like
Sonic!
play it off where he's like, I don't know, I'm not, it's not like that. But I feel like eventually, like, even he may not even, like, ask the question or anything, but he might go up to Tom, like, willingly, or Tom is just gonna be like, I'm gonna sit you down, we're gonna have the guy talk, and I'm like, no! No! The guy talk!
He'd be, like, either confused or be like, oh, no, it's happening.
He's like, what the heck do you mean?
What is this? Why do I have feelings?
It's funny. But it could be the case where she's, like, more mature than because she is older. She's not a kid.
She's not a kid. She looks older. She literally just took out, like, the hammer looked like the hammer from, like, Sonic Boom stylized. It was really cool and looked awesome. And the thing is, like, I don't think she knew who Sonic was unless it's, like, you know how Tails found out, but he's a tech key. He
also,
knew who
that
Sonic
would make
was
it more
with that.
creepy. Because, like,
that's
she's
more of a
been
stalking kind of thing.
Him this whole time.
So in this case, I feel like this would be the first time they meet, which is for Sonic, but like, not for Amy, I guess. But like, just imagine like, hey, like she would be like, "You all right?" And then it'd be like, "Yeah." I can imagine like, you know how they do the iconic scenes or like with love scenes, like, or what's it called? You know I don't know. I tried. What is this like? That iconic when they have the music playing in the background and they see that like like that, literally, like something like that in the background.
Just like, nope.
He's like, wait, Sonic? No, Sonic would be the one having that.
No,
it's
but
Amy.
also like nope.
Like,
he's
what?
not.
No, he would shake himself like, oh. But I think he would be. I mean, like, I just think it'd be so cute if he starts like having feelings and would flirt a little bit or try to but fail, and Knuckles like, hi, you're fun. You know, like he would just make fun of Sonic for trying to.
It's just like
think, and then Tom would be like, I see what's going on here. Sonic, sit down. We're gonna have a little talk. I'm like, let's go. I kind of want that.
Like, please no.
I kind of want that. And
it would be funny. It would be funny.
I think it would be so sweet, and I think we could have a mature Amy, but I don't want Amy to be like no boys. Like no, I think
like girl boss. Only like
not girl boss. Like I want her to be like be very independent, like very strong and stuff, and teamwork with Tails and Knuckles and stuff.
Oh yeah, and Sonic. Yeah.
Sonic, but like I think he. Like he's the team leader in this movie. I really saw Sonic as very much as a team lead. Like he told what Tails would do, Knuckles would do, like when they were fighting.
But also she has her flaws too.
Yeah, she has her flaws too. So I'm thinking like Sonic would be distracted by Amy, and be like okay, Knuckles you go left, Tails you go up, and Amy, and then like Sonic, what do you want me to do? Like it'd be like okay, I'll go right. Like she'll. I don't know. I'm just like fantasizing about this.
I'm not sure if it would happen exactly like that because I still think there would be a little bit of fangirl in Amy. You can't take the fangirl out of Amy completely.
Well, they think they might. I think she might hide it. Like she would be like so strong or look really like nothing would faze her in front of Sonic. But when she turns it around, be like, oh my gosh, like it's like. or if she did know Sonic before, she'd be like, that's Sonic, that's actually Sonic, and I just saved him. Oh my gosh, it's Sonic. Like, she could be a fangirl, but not like a fan crush, but fangirl.
Ooh.
Maybe if she knew about Sonic beforehand, like Tails did. Not saying she was stalking, but like might have heard in the cosmic universe. I'm not sure. Because you know what happened in Robotnik? Remember in the second movie, he released one of like Sonic's like Quill's power, and then people like came through, like used ring teleportation to go over there, and it wasn't even Knuckles who first showed up. It was these bird looking people kind of thing. Like, what's their story, you know?
Yeah.
Just can we just have Amy? We have Amy. Amy's canon.
Amy
is in the movies. I'm like, I can't. I mean, I know, lady. I'm sorry. I'm freaking out with Metal Sonic. I'm not a huge fan of Metal Sonic, but I know how important he is, and he was like, trying to. And
bro, the one thing I would change.
What? You would change something in the movie?
I would change one thing
What would
in
be?
that little snippet. Have the bird land on her shoulder.
Okay, yeah, the bird. Amy's bird.
The blue bird. I'm like,
the blue bird.
Yeah, remember?
I know about the blue bird. I was thinking the blue bird or the pink one.
But like, if she landed and like took off the cloak and then just a bird landed on her shoulder.
Oh my god. You know what changed about Amy? Her design a little bit. Well, okay, definitely looked different, the live action Amy. But did you notice that she didn't have 3? Like Quill, like they got Tails' right. I think he had 2, or was it also 3? I forgot. But
I think it was 3.
I think it was 2. Oh, I forgot. But like Tails has a 2 like up here, or 3, whatever.
I
but
could be wrong.
Amy has 3 as well, but pointing forward and 3 right under each other instead of Tails was on the side, I think. So it's interesting that it was like a fluff. Like it was more of it. It wasn't just the number that she has, which is 3 in her art. It was actually more, and I'm like, okay, we're changing a little bit about it. Like, I'm okay with that.
There is the possibility, like,
they might fix that.
If she knew him. I'm sorry, I'm going back to what
No,
we were
let's
talking
go.
about.
Let's go.
If she knew him, what if she's from Mobius, and she came looking for help?
Did Tails reveal that in the second movie?
No.
He says he's from a village. He never said where he's actually from.
And they're from a different world. That's confirmed.
That is true.
So if the
Shadow got
is,
through their meteor. We don't even have Dark Doom in here, which I'm really happy. I'm okay with not having that.
Mephiles is really good.
Yes.
We don't talk about Sonic 06. Anyway.
Except Silver and Blaze. They're the good ones.
They're very good.
Mm-hmm.
Underutilized. I wish it was used better.
True.
Possibilities. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
But there's the possibility where she could mention, we need help, Mobius is under attack, or something is happening, and that is why she knows who Sonic is. Mm-hmm. And maybe she followed his adventures and realized, I need help.
That'd be so cool, like a quest.
This guy could help me.
Oh my gosh.
And so she admires him.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of fangirl in there, but it's not like too over the top.
And Sonic would try to impress Amy, but he would like stumble and like mess up and like.
If he does fall for her in that first moment, I think that's sweet. And also, she does admire him because she'd known him previously. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to like impress each other, and I think that's really funny.
I think that'd be awesome.
So I think that would be an interesting plot line. There's so many different reasons why she would be here as well. But I just think that it is a possibility.
This could totally work.
Mm-hmm.
To what if they went back, like instead of having it on Earth, they went to a different planet?
Mobius. And also we could see so many other characters like Big the Cat or
Do we want
the Chaos Crew.
Okay, to be honest, I think that's an awesome idea, but imagine how much that would cost for CGI.
Oh my gosh, I know.
They would. I almost want to think they would have to change like animation style, like not have them look like CGI. They would make them go look like almost 3D, but like maybe with less, like almost Kung Fu Panda style. Does that make sense? Like more of that instead of live. I don't know. I just feel like it would cost so much. In this case, for making a film like that.
It wouldn't have to be the case.
Because the Super Mario Bros, like, they didn't make them live action, but they look really good in 3D, how they made the movie. So I can imagine them doing something like that with the Sonic characters, but that's, like, completely changing the designs. And I think the fans
I wouldn't go that far, but I'm just saying
it would cost so much.
Yeah, no, that does not have to be the case.
Which is, that's actually what Detective Pikachu was. Like, the different, like, CGI of Pokemon. So, yeah, I watched that movie. Don't laugh at me.
I actually haven't seen that movie.
Okay. You don't have to. You don't have to. It doesn't need it. You don't need to watch. But like they did CGI a lot of those Pokemon, and that's but with Sonic they only have to do it with only Sonic, and then second movie Tails and Knuckles, and now they'll have a lot more characters to CGI, which will probably cost a lot. I'm just thinking like realistically for making a film, because I was in cinema and digital arts, that was my major, so like that is a huge thing. Budget. Will they have a budget to do that? I don't hope so, because they beat the box office. They beat Mufasa. I totally forgot that Mufasa was a thing. I'm like, and then Disney's like, #1 in the world. I'm like, no, it hasn't come out yet. I was in Hungary, and then when it came out on the 25th, so like it wasn't released internationally. Excuse me, Disney, shut up. We don't talk about Disney here.
I will say, I was like, if we are talking a little bit about Disney, I was hurt by them making in the live action that Simba is not the brother of Scar, the real brother, because Mufasa
is not the real brother of Scar.
It takes away so much from, because I remember as a kid reading the actual story, like there were clips of it, and knowing the actual canon from the story really stung. And I get that it's like, oh yeah, it's a different universe, so it's fine, and I totally understand that you can take creative liberty, but there's still a lot of sting with the fans who have loved Lion King since they were kids. It was my favorite Disney movie, still is, like the original one.
Yeah, and
having that changed really stung.
Yeah, little Mufasa tip to hear about that. Like I agree with you, but then I watched the review with my favorite YouTuber Brian Hall. He talked about it. He reviewed Sonic 3 and Mufasa, and I listened to both. And then he did a review of both. I'm like, whoa! But he was talking about that. Well, yeah, they were real brothers in the animation one in 1994, but they're adoptive, or in this case, stepbrothers in the live action. But he said that like, well, that's like the live action of Lion King itself that came out in 2019. I forgot when it came out, but that was its own alternate universe. Like that's its own story. I think you mentioned that too. And looks like in that version of the live action Lion King, they're not blood brothers. And I'm okay with that. Like I accepted. Brian Hole said it so well. Like watch the video. I recommend it. He's great. He explained it so well. Like he can like, and I can accept that. Like okay, I can let that go. Like with the whole like they're not actual brothers. I'm like, come on, that was the whole. But I'm okay. But I'm not eager to watch Mufasa. I honestly do not care. I might watch it when it comes out on stream. Like I just don't care.
Yeah, I just think
if anything, they could have animated it. Like have an animated version of the Mufasa.
That's just one thing that I think people need to realize is there will always be that sting of people who are like, but the original story is so good. Why do you have to change it? That is, I'm just saying that as a fact. That is one of the reasons why Mufasa is not as popular.
Yeah, I mean, I know, and it was also released worldwide compared to Sonic was only released in the United States at the same time, but it wasn't released internationally. And I saw someone talk about it like, I only got it on the 26th. Some people in other countries got it on the 25th. Some people got it on the 27th, 28th, 29th. Like one I think is coming out. I don't know which country it is, but it's releasing in January 17th. Like that long. I feel bad for those people or that country that's gonna get that Sonic 3 way later.
You're gonna love it.
You're gonna so love it.
Sorry for the spoilers.
But now that it's released internationally, like Mufasa's not #1 in the world. It was for like 6 days or 5 days because it was released internationally. But since Sonic 3 was released internationally, it's now the #1 in the world. Like Disney tried to brag about it. I'm like, no, just no, I'm sorry.
There could be some changes to the story, like the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds are a little handled a little different, or small things like that. But you got to stay true to your characters, and you got to stay true to your story. And honestly, the Sonic team and the people working on all these movies have done such a wonderful job. And if any of them get the chance to see this video, I just encourage them to keep doing what you're doing. Stay true to the characters.
Stay true.
And just tell a good story. Like, let the characters live that story. And I've enjoyed every second of it, and I look forward to enjoying the rest of it.
And just to top it off, let's end it soon with what characters are you looking forward to that hopefully they'll introduce? And if yes, how?
Oh man, there's so many more theories to talk about though.
We can have it on another, or talk about it another time. But I'll just say mine. My favorite character of the Sonic universe is Silver. You know this. I adopted him. He's my son. He's my son. He's mine. I already adopted him. Mine. So he has a loving home. Can eat all the cookies and milk he wants. He's my son. But he's my precious boy. But I really want them to have Silver in this universe and Blaze. And now that they have like Metal Sonic and Amy, like I'm really happy about that. I personally don't really want the Chaotix to be in it. I think that's a little too much unless they introduce them in the Mobius world. Like we just theorized, like what if they went to a different world and save a different world? Like that'd be cool. Like they're jumping dimensions or jumping worlds to save. Like he's not like Sonic's not the hero of Earth, but he's also the hero of maybe Mobius or different planets. Like I think that'd be awesome. Like now that you mention it, like oh that would be epic. Like maybe Amy went to find Sonic to say, hey, can you please help my home world? That'd be awesome. But with that, sorry, so many things that I want to talk about now.
And there's so
but how to but like I don't really want the Chaotix. I'd rather have Rouge in it, even though I really don't like Rouge, but I'd rather have Rouge so that maybe Shadow can have a companion to go around like they do in the games, like Rouge and Shadow, and it was Omega, the three of them being a team. Or Team Dark, what was it called? Team Shadow, Team Dark, I think that's what it's called. Something like that. But the Chaotix, like with Vector and Charmy and Espio, I'm like, actually Espio is my favorite of the three, but I don't really care much about them, and I don't really want them in the universe unless they're in the background, like in Mobius. If they go to that, I'm fine with that. I'm fine because they're in that, but I don't want them to come to Earth. In my opinion.
I could actually see it as them like being a station, like a safe house.
Or, yeah, definitely.
Like they're the communication between the worlds, and they keep Sonic informed what's going on in Mobius, and they handle the smaller things. But if something massive happens, like oh no, there's another huge attack, then they keep Sonic informed, and he's like, okay, we gotta go. And I just think that would be interesting. Like they're like almost the Teen Titans of
sure.
the Sonic. I'm sorry, I'm a huge Teen Titans fan. The classic. But yeah, I just think it would be interesting. Silver and Blaze, man.
I want them so bad.
Okay, there's specific things that have to happen. It has to be like carefully done because
yes,
we don't talk about 06, but I'm talking about 06.
We don't need Elise. Unless it could be cameo, but she doesn't exist. Like you could say, oh, this like maybe they save a woman and like, oh, like how are you? Okay, I'm like oh, I'm Elise. Like that's fine. Have that. No. Like no, to save someone, but like someone from a falling building, like in Superman kind of thing. Like save them and then leave them, and that's all the screen time they get. Like I don't mind like someone like being named Elise, like being mentioned in the movie, but don't let it be the actual character. Just like a cameo. It's almost like a cameo or like a little Easter egg right there. That's all.
Or we could just pretend doesn't exist.
That works too. I'm up for that too. Let's go.
For the pain. Anyway.
But I would love it if it was a storyline a little bit. No, not the storyline. I want the villain. So like in this case with Silver and Blaze, I want either it be the Iblis, like as the villain, or Mephiles. I'd rather want Mephiles to be the villain. That'd be really, really cool.
Mephiles.
I think we should have Mephiles. That's also I want to ask. What villains would you want to come live action? Would you want Infinite?
Well,
Infinite would be interesting.
With Silver, he's such a specific character because he's from the future and he sees the world end.
Maybe we don't have to have him be from the future. Maybe we could have him not.
There's many possibilities.
Endless possibilities. Sorry, I have to.
But I think, oh man, there's so many things you could do with it. Mephiles, I think, was a really good villain. And he could be used in so many different ways. Especially for Shadow, like now that he's overcome things, he could be like...
Why do you look like...
He could be his shadow that's following him and like tempting him. I don't know, kind of like a temptation character. But I think to have the main three, like I knew Shadow couldn't die because if Silver were to exist, they'd have to have the three. Because literally they all
gotta bring the brothers. I call them brothers. I still like that. I know they're not, but
shout out to Murder of Me.
Murder of Me. The I can't. I really butcher that name, but her story. I want you to read it. It's okay if you don't, but it's like the Little Mermaid style. It's like I want them to be brothers so bad. But now that actually, I feel like they could do a way that they could actually be brothers. I think it would be awesome. But we're not going to talk about that. That'll be a different topic.
That might be a little
It's a theory. It might be too much, but I feel like I can figure out a way to do it in live action if they're actually like blood brothers. I think it'd be really cool.
Like, huge shout out to Murder of Me. Such a beautiful story.
Yeah.
It will probably never be finished, but please give the creator some love.
Yeah, our condolences as well.
Such a wonderful story. Very much life-changing for me. Like, going back, it's like...
Life-changing for me, too, because that's also reading that that's when I made the decision because of this one... I'll post it up here. Because I saw this, that's why I adopted Silver. Is because of Murder of Me. It's
stories like Murder of Me that just connects the fandom together and makes us truly love these characters and keep them alive.
It made it so dark too. Like,
keep creating. Like,
yes,
that is one of my big things. Keep creating. You never know how many people you're going to help or how many people you're inspired to create more.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, I didn't think Shadow was going to die at all. So when we saw that last...
life form.
Yeah, when I saw that last clip, I was like, it's not as big of a reveal because I knew he wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
And... because of that, there is a possibility. I'm not saying they have to, because I could understand why they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a possibility of Silver and Blaze, which would be interesting. They just have to utilize them well. Because I think in the game, they were underutilized.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more you could do with those characters, which is why they get a lot of hate sometimes. But if they were to use those characters, you'd have to use them very carefully. And there are a lot of possibilities. So many possibilities. But I'm just excited for the original cast first. I'm excited for Amy. I'm excited for Sonic. I'm excited for the dynamic.
And she didn't talk either, so who's going to voice Amy? That's a good question. I kind of really want the original voice actor. Or I know there's two main voice actors that I know they did for Amy. I'm really bad with names right now. I can't come up with it. But I'm just like, I'm really curious about that. Who's going to be the voicing? And
Bro, my childhood dreams.
I want her to sound young. I don't want... I mean, like, Shadow sounds like... I love, like, Keanu Reeves. Fantastic job for doing Shadow. But even with, like, Knuckles, Knuckles could have a younger voice, but it was a deeper one with Idris Elba. Like, he did fantastic. I was very skeptical when watching the trailer and hearing Knuckles' voice. I'm like, it doesn't sound like Knuckles. It looks... But when I watched the movie, brilliant. Like, I'm okay with that. But I don't really want Amy to have a very, let's just say, I want her to have a young teenage voice. I don't want, like, I feel bad, but, like, I don't want maybe Scarlett Johansson to voice it. Does that make sense? She has a very strong, but, like, good, like, female lead, like voice, but, like, mature. Very, very mature. Like, you can hear that. Where's another example? Like, I'm thinking, but, like, I think when I heard her in, like, the live-action Jungle Book, I'm like, with Ka, I think that's her. Like, I was like, no. Like, I wouldn't want Amy to sound like that in a way. Like, even as Black Widow. Like, I think if it was like a young teenager voice, but very mature.
It has to match the characters. It has to match Sonic, Tails,
like Sonic Frontiers or
Shadow. I think
similar to even Sonic Boom a little bit.
Yes, definitely a youthful voice.
Yes,
but not to the point of Sonic. Oh my goodness, it's you.
Yeah, we don't need that. Yeah, we don't.
I'm like, okay. My ears.
Sonic!
First off.
Oh wait, that was Tails. All right.
Don't do it. No. Don't do my boy like that.
Sorry. I was trying to do Amy, but I failed.
I'm sorry. I love Sonic and Tails. Those are my
Sonic?
boys. I protect them. But
Sonic?
I think
no, that's annoying. No, I'll stop.
But I think you can do a lot with Amy's voice too. Because just don't do it extremely high pitched, but like.
It doesn't have to be squeaky teenager. Like, no.
You could do a semi-high pitch, but like not to the point where our ears are bleeding.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can have that cutesy moment if she is like
cutesy
crushing or fangirl moment. Like, oh my gosh, it's Sonic. Like, but not like crazy like that. But like, oh my gosh, it's Sonic. Oh, stay cool.
She's
stay
like,
cool.
or
stay
he
cool.
does
like,
something really cool, like he actually saves her, and she's like, oh. I think that would be really cute.
It's like, oh, you probably could have handled yourself, but, like, Spider-Man helping.
Yeah, and just trying to hide, like, her hands shaking. I think that would be really cute.
That'd be really cute.
There's so many ways you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I am a huge Sonic fan, but you have to do it well. And I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this next movie.
Yeah. But I'm thinking, like, I want to say, like, I want to see Silver so bad, and the thing is, I want Bryce Papenbrook to voice him. He does Silver in, like, the Olympic Games. But I know there was whoever did Sonic 06, who voiced him in Sonic 06, I forgot his name, but I don't mind if he did it. Like, I would love if it was the original voice actor. Like, I know they didn't even do that with Sonic. They didn't do that with Knuckles. They did it with Tails, though. And I feel like that was really precious because we need that. But there's also, like, other good, like, to do, like, good Tails impression as well. Like, the young, raspy voice. But overall, like, with Amy and, like, Sylph, like, I just... Either the original voice actors, please, or, I don't know, I just... Like, you know, like, with Knuckles it was a surprise, but it worked really well. But I'm afraid, like, you know, for iconic characters like this, like, make it precious. Like, you know, they can have a different personality, but, like, keep the voices.
Make the
like,
romance...
I want Bryce Papenbrook to do, Silver.
Sorry.
No use! I'll shut up.
It's no use! Make the romance natural and genuine. Make it sweet. Don't make it, like, too crazy. I love how we're making, like, demands or requests.
Well,
but I think...
But they do listen to the fans.
That is true. I've
amazing.
honestly loved that so much. Appreciate it if any of you see it. Thank you for all you do. Shout out to you guys. You're doing a wonderful job. Keep at it. Keep
so much praise.
Hard. The innocent love of, like the crush of, like, Sonic and Amy is something that made the Sonic Amy fans be Sonic Amy fans. And just covering it that way, they're still kids. They're teens. And just covering it in such a sweet way and natural way is something that is so good. And it makes Sonic running away, like, him being afraid to admit, like, he does like her. It's secretly canon. Sonic, the guy who voices Sonic, will never admit it. Sonic will never admit it.
Nope,
but until
he's too shy.
Until the time is right. But I think that innocent love of, like, she will genuinely care about him for the rest of her life. And be ready and continue to wait until he's ready is so sweet. And that is something that needs to be cherished.
You haven't seen this, but whenever you get the time, if you get to play it or watch the walkthrough on YouTube, like, watch Sonic Frontiers. They did a different Amy.
I didn't get to see that yet.
And I loved Amy in that one. It was mature, but also, like, you could feel sadness in it. I can't say it much because I don't want to... Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm watching
Let's go till midnight. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But
I'm such...
It was so good. And the thing is, like, okay, with villains, I'd love to see Mephiles. I think if they did it right, they could do really well if they had Infinite. But again, I don't know what world, I don't know. I think they could do okay with that.
And after all this time...
We're back for more!
Bro, I still listen to that song. I get inspiration from music, and...
Same.
There's a few songs from Sonic.
In His World is my ultimate favorite song. Because it's like, in His World, His World. Like, that just pumps me up all the time. Night of the Wind, I love that too. Oh my gosh.
Bro, Cream.
Would Cream be in it?
That is a question.
If they go to Mobius, like, if they have... Again, I would love to dig deep on this if they actually teleport into a different world.
Secretly they're refugees, like Amy and Cream. That's probably not the case, but, like, that would be really cute. Like, if they escaped Mobius...
Wait a minute.
Before the attack.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Think about this. If it was, like, a different dimension, not a different world, but a different dimension that Amy came from, imagine this. We could get another Robotnik, but a different actor. But they're a Robotnik of that world.
We didn't even
like they
talk
did
about
in
that.
Sonic Prime.
I just realized we didn't talk about that.
You mean Robotnik?
No, like, because Robotnik, like...
Blew up?
Jim Carrey said that Sonic was going to be the last movie, and then he continued. And Ivo and Gerald have appeared to have died. Gerald is obviously dead. He went poop.
The way they did I literally looked to you to see your reaction. We had the exact same reaction.
I was like,
I'm like, okay, bye.
You won't be missed. Well, Jim Carrey would.
But they did it so PG. Like, I think that was a good thing for kids because and then Ivo making that joke like made it even better.
I work at a boba place and we put on like a light just in case, like
yeah,
like in the summer if a mosquito gets in, like we
yeah.
have this light that will be on when the lights are all off.
Bugs.
Get boba, it's so good. But teas and coffees, enjoy it. I don't work at that boba place. But sponsor.
I wish I could get sponsored.
But oh, where was I going with this? Wait, what was I saying? Oh yes. So we have this little purple light we turn on, and I was like, oh, it's literally just like when I close for work.
Yep.
So funny.
But yeah, no, I can imagine. So like Jim Carrey, if he does come back, I can imagine him coming back. So okay, you know what they didn't do, which is why I became a Sonic fan, was when Sonic got trapped and left Tails in charge. They weren't at that stage of their bond yet because of like compared to like Sonic X or in the games, but they didn't do that. But what if they? Because okay, I was really paying attention the second time. I thought maybe because the platform where Sonic and Sonic X got jettisoned, it was in the center, and I saw Ivo in the center trying to like in the movie trying to control, like you put a shield around the chaos energy to hold it down before it explodes faster.
Bro, that.
And I thought that wait, if he stays there, maybe there might be like a little thing like he could escape pod, like a jet, like in the tube.
True.
And I thought, but then I saw him elevate, and I'm like, oh, it's too thin. It's too thin. I'm like, maybe he could do it if he. I mean, he still had the, he had defense. Stupid autocorrect. Like he could maybe have made it, but he really did go out with a bang.
But he's also Dr. Eggman. He survived so much.
Yes, but how they, how they do films, like, they didn't kill Tom. If they were to kill Tom, he would have had maybe last words or something like that, or anything like.
But
they would have made his
words.
scene. Not really.
No, Dr. Eggman.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the difference. He had last words. He had a lot of screen time. I wouldn't be surprised if this was his last one, but he's a legend, like Jim Carrey. Like if you come back, you have no idea. Or actually, you probably would have an idea how happy and joyful the fans would be if you come back again. And you're like the legend that never dies. Like you always come back, and I love that. And like
I will never forget like the first time seeing Sonic. I was a little nervous because I don't know. I'm not a big Mario fan.
I am not either. I played the games when I was younger. I didn't know about Sonic.
Yeah. And there's so many movies that like were not done well as live action. So I was really nervous about Sonic, but after seeing it, seeing that Tails was next, I'm like, I just want more. I wanted to keep going. And also, not only that, but the Dr. Eggman, like the way Jim Carrey played him really drawed us in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, who's gonna play Dr. Eggman? How is that gonna go? But when Jim Carrey, like seeing him as Dr. Eggman, I'm like, I see it. Like I can't picture anyone else as Dr. Eggman.
No one could. Even in like at the
not
end
in
of the first
same way.
Knew in the end of the first movie he was gonna come back, but in the second movie, like later, hater, and I'm like, he could be dead, but they didn't show that. And of course, we saw Agent Stone. I'm like, yeah, he's alive. Like Agent Stone would infiltrate to save his boss.
For me, like if this was Jim Carrey's last movie, first of all, thank you so much for
thank you again
and all your effort and for going more than what you said you would, and I appreciate it so much.
You do so much.
But if this was the last film with Jim Carrey, I think that Dr. Stone or
Agent Stone, yeah,
you have infected me.
I apologize.
How dare you? But no, he would become Dr. Stone. I think he would be the next Eggman because he adored Eggman.
He would continue his legacy.
I think he would continue the mantle as Eggman. If that is the case, it is a possibility. I just think that would be a fascinating way of doing it. Or he just comes back, which to all of our delight. Because Jim Carrey is just a legend, and his Dr. Eggman is so great. So, if this was his last movie, we will see a lot more of Agent Stone. And also, seeing him on that motorcycle, like, dang, what a legend.
Right, let's go.
He was staying on top of everything. That's so good, so good.
Okay, can we share this as well? I said this, but, like, I was whispering it to you, but, like, I realized Tails literally sent, like, a tidal wave to Agent Stone into the crab, like, Tails! But the thing is, I thought...
looks like they forgot to flush.
And, like, but then you see him crawling, like, did Tails do that? Or was that Shadow who did that? Because I think, because Agent Stone found out that, or figured out that Shadow and
Shadow
Gerald...
left him to die.
I mean, he can teleport, but...
He left him to die.
Yeah, I don't know if he left him, like, I don't know if...
making vengeance squawk mean nothing.
Nothing. Well, I don't know if it was, maybe Shadow was the one who destroyed the crab, or it was actually that whole thing. Like, was that Tails' doing?
It was Tails.
Tails savage! Like, whoa!
What a legend. No, because the water,
Agent Stone even called him cute. Like, you're adorable. I'm like...
Well, he was still an enemy.
Well, yeah, but I'm just like... And he almost, I mean, what if he would have drowned? Like, because even the crab was slowly sinking into the water. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, Tails, did you know you just did that? I'm like,
Well, he also knew Shadow could teleport. But like, he didn't.
No, he knew Shadow could teleport. I think, he knew Shadow could teleport. It was more like Agent Stone.
Tails is such a legend. Oh man, I love him so much. My boy, my childhood boy, I love him.
Well, I think I'm gonna end it here because I think I'm running out of time.
I think we ran out of time.
I think we might have run out of time. I might have cut off. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I'm gonna end it here. Thank you so much, Hope. And I'm glad I got to see your first reaction to the movie. And I do apologize if I went a little outboard. I just felt like I could be free a little bit. Except the lady next to me, I felt really bad. I was like, I wish we had like so 3 seats. Yeah, they were.
I was just literally, I stayed dead silent, but I was just like.
No, I saw, your reaction was awesome on your face.
I was vibrating.
The camera will show it. But it was just so much fun, and I'm glad we got to discuss it afterwards, and...
We'll have to watch the movie together.
Yes.
And I would be down to rewatch Sonic X with you.
Yes.
If that became a series.
Mm-hmm.
Foreshadowing?
Well, okay, so when I was doing How I Became a Fan, when I did Sonic X, that copyrighted many times. Oh. So but the thing is, I did it in a way, but maybe we could figure something out, but it's a lot of episodes.
We could watch the episodes and then, like, just talk about each one.
That's true. We could watch the episode and then have a discussion after. I like that. But no, yeah, again, so happy to discuss any nerd talk. I love it. And I'd love to do this with you again. Hey guys, if you enjoyed Hope's comments and enjoyed her reaction, please let me know in the comments. We are great friends, so you might see her more in some other things. We'll see if you want to. I gotta ask
you. You just gotta let me know.
Yeah, surprise. But yeah. So
do I have to say my channel?
Oh, if you want to, yeah. You have a channel as well.
I don't post videos, but I am taking Jungle 72, and it was great to be part of this. Yeah. This is my first one with you.
Let's go.
First of many, hopefully.
First of many.
We have ideas.
Mm-hmm. A lot of plans for 2025. I can't believe it's 2025. Yowzas.
Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year. So, yeah. Happy New Year, guys. And please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos, more live reactions, live discussions, or in this case, discussions, nerd talk with Hungry Harmony coming to the Nerd Herd. And just, let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the movie. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments underneath. Again, if you want to see Hope again and you want to hear more discussions, nerd talk about literally almost anything. If you want to hear us talk about Miraculous, we can go for hours. So if you want to hear that, let me know in the comments. Literally, write anything in the comments. Let's go. If you want more Sonic content, I want to play more video games. And I want to game with you. So you might see us streaming games. So we'll see.
And
we'll
try to make sure. The best.
Cat Noir's best boy. Let's go.
Best boy, protect.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna end it here. But thank you guys again so much. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Sonic amazing day. I didn't really have a good ending and outro for that, but I do have this. Hungry Harmony is gonna be out. But remember, gotta go fast. Chaos control.
Yeah.